I don't need to introduce Mike Lindell, my pillow guy, probably the second most famous man in America besides Donald J. Trump, and a freedom fighter, a Christian. Love your faith. Love the fact that you wear your faith on your sleeve.
Right on.
So thank you for fighting for freedom. You went through so much stuff with the election. Like when you were announcing the evidence you had about election integrity, I was praying for you. I was like, this is going to nail it. This is solid. And then what happened?
You know, it's still, the fight goes on. The media just quits talking about it. So they just quit attacking me until just recently. Now we had the election summit in August, and when I had that, now the attacks started again. So it's all over late night TV now, all over the news. My pillow is going down. My pillow is under my campaign's lawyer. Well, $2 million a month, lawyers to pay lawyers off here for the Dominion Smartmatic lawsuits, for these lawsuits. So you have those lawsuits over here, these frivolous lawfare they used against over 200 people and platforms in our country here in the U.S. And that hadn't been used since 1798. So, and all the evidence I had, remember, no judge in the United States has looked at the evidence based on merit. None. Okay, now where is that evidence, everybody? Well, that evidence is sitting in these courts now in these lawsuits. We gave all the cyber evidence to them, all the hacker captures, all this stuff. They have all that. Well, about a year ago, I said, you know what? This is going to get to court through the courts too slow. We're going to lose our country through these computers, as you've seen in 2022 again. Well, so we came up with a plan. It's an amazing plan that's going to secure our election. And so there's a couple things going on. When I announced this plan in August, the media swooped in and attacked. Now, at that time, I told my lawyers, I can't keep paying $2 million a month in lawyer bills. So as you see all over the news now, the judge just ruled yesterday that those lawyers can back out of the case because I can't pay them.
You were in court yesterday?
The lawyers did. They asked the judge if they could, we can't get paid, there's no money, can we drop? The judge said yes. Now, there's 2 other judges that have to follow suit. These are 3 cases against my pillow, to the tune, I think it's upwards of $7 billion, right? So, you know, so we have that going on. But everything they're doing is trying to do one thing, and that is to silence Mike Lindell, to silence me. You know, you just said yourself, you're praying and hoping and whatever. That hasn't left. I can't unsee what I've seen, and I know what I know. This says we have to secure our elections, or we'll end up 52 countries now have fell to the electronic voting machine, from Brazil being the last one. That includes Venezuela, Peru, Australia, Canada. All these countries have fell because they've had selections and not elections. All done with computers, and we've had all the evidence. But now what we have is a great plan. We're rolling it out this fall, and we're doing it right now. We have these devices that now detect when these machines come online, these voting machines, which I said, they're never on the internet. They're not on the internet, right? All these lines. Yeah. You know, that was the big lie told to the world. They're all on the internet, everybody. And now we developed these devices. They're not Wi-Fi sniffers, everybody. That was the big lie the media told you. They're not drones. I'm going to fly over Louisiana. That was another lie the media told you. Yeah. And these are devices that we're giving to the election officials so they can see if the machine companies lied to them, right? Then I have an app. If you put in Mike Lindell at the App Store, you have the Cause of America app. I have 300,000 people I lead across all 50 states. And we have all the lawsuits going on, everything we have going on from canvassing and everything. You would be amazed at what the positives, the hope of the country. And then you've got to get the Frank Social app, which is the election crime app, which you can hit elections. It shows you a stream what's going on in your backyard. People need to be educated. You're going, you know, what happened with all that? It's still going. We're winning. We're going to win. They're not going to tell you that. The news, Fox News is not going to tell you that. Newsmax isn't going to tell you that. Remember, that was the biggest loss we had in our country for the media, was our conservative media that we trusted. They're like 2 weather channels, and they cannot report to. They can't report tornadoes and hurricanes. That's what they're comparable to. They can't talk about anything with the vaccine or machine. Or election. They will not talk about the elections at all.
Who's controlling this? I mean, who has so much money that they can control this?
Here's what came into our country, and here's what it is. This wasn't a Democrat-Republican thing. We've been boiled over here for 2 decades over here. Now, when these the Democrats wanted these electronic voting machines gone for 2 decades, Republicans wanted them. Republicans used them. My biggest fight is with the Republicans to get rid of these things, by far. I mean, and what came into our country was the CCP. Remember, in the United States, our elections are deemed critical infrastructure. What came in the 2020 and before, I wouldn't trust any election where the machines were used, but the CCP, the globalists, the deep state, and ready for the uniparty, this uniparty here. But there's a much more. I mean, I call it pure evil. How big does it go and how wide? It goes far and wide. But what you will find out is what it's doing to our country and around the world. There's a common sense bucket here. There's 2 buckets. Here's this common sense bucket. Call it the people's bucket. Okay, no party thing. No party. Call it our real President Donald Trump bucket. You got to put an R there, right? This bucket of common sense. People are pouring into this bucket now. Things are getting revealed every day that don't make sense. If politicians are making decisions that don't help any of the people on both sides, then there's a hidden agenda. That's what we're up against. The other bucket is the bucket of Jesus Christ. That bucket here, people don't look to God when things are going good. They look to Him when things are going bad. And they're pouring into this bucket. We're in the greatest revival in history. I think people just have to enjoy it.
No. Well, where's Donald Trump in all this? You have his ear. Is he listening?
We talk quite often, and but we always what would you say? Encourage each other. He gets attacked more than any person I've ever met. His courage, courage is contagious. People always say, "Oh, Mike, you're so courageous." What do you like? Well, I look to God. I only fear God. And when I will sit and talk with our great real president, he asked me the other day, he said, "Mike, the only way that I could lose is if they steal it again." And he said, "So you're going to have these election platforms fixed in time?" And I said, "Sir, they're already fixed against you." I said, "We are going to secure them and unfix them. We're going to have elections and not selections." Then he wins by a landslide. He will win 70-some% in a real election. I think that helps is the people out there. Every time he gets, I get attacked or he gets indicted. Let's say he gets indictment number 1, 2, 3, 4. Every time, more and more people come into this bucket. Yeah. And I told him, "Sir, you've given them no reason to leave this bucket. Once people's eyes are open, what he did for the country and what he can do, he's the only one I believe. God's going to bring this country and the world back. But you need tools like Donald Trump. He's the tool that can do it. And that tool, it said, you've given everyone their eyes are getting known by all the horrible things going on, and they're jumping into this bucket. They know. And they never have a reason to leave this bucket. Oh, he's got another indictment. I'm not going to go for him. No, that's not true. He gets another indictment, 20 more people jump in the bucket.
Yeah, well, they indicted the apostles, they indicted our Lord Jesus, they indicted all the reformers. Yeah. Every reformer went to court.
Right.
It was always fixed. Yeah. It's amazing that I think people are waking up. I don't think people are that gullible anymore when you say, well, but the government says, but the media says, but then
this has been waking. 2020 will be the most important election in history, and here's why. I told people, I said, think where we'd be at. I said, when I spoke at the Rose Garden, remember when I spoke at the Rose Garden, it was all around the world, okay? Yes. What I said was, and this was the spring of 2020, right before the China virus. I said, God gave us grace for such a time as this. We need to get back in the Word. God was taken out of our school. We need to get back in the Word, spend time with our families, and get in the Bible. Now, when I said that, people come up to me all the time, and they go, Mike, this doesn't feel like grace. This doesn't feel like grace. Oh, but it is. Where would we be if we were getting boiled like, nation after nation being taken by these electronic devices and these corrupt elections, which now, if you can use a tool like that, you don't need 1 million people to steal elections. All you need is a few press of a button. Now, in the 2020 election, if we would have went to bed and Donald Trump had not overrode the algorithms and revealed everything, we'd all went to bed, all Biden won. It's over. We were done as a country. We were done. But since our great real president, he's never given up. Ever. He's never given up. He's so strong, and we have thousands of people. If we didn't have anything now, all the tools God's given us, we have all the tools to get our nation back, to secure our elections, and then the nations around the world have hope for the first time. Venezuela, I talk to the underground there all the time. We are their hope. They were hoping that someday America would wake up, the U.S. would wake up and go, hey, we need to have elections and not selections, you know. And so we have great hope right now, and the reason we have it is because of the 2020 election, because people's eyes are getting open now. All the attacks on Donald Trump, all these attacks on the people, you know, across our country, all these things that are happening are the propaganda that was put forth for decades here and around the world. That propaganda, you're exactly right. People are seeing through it going, what? No, this doesn't make sense. And they take another look over at this bucket. They go, I want what this wants. We all want joyful, we want peaceful times here while we're here before we all go to heaven. Well, right now, you know, this is the greatest time to be alive because God has given us grace, and we all got to do our part. Courage is contagious. One of the things when I talk to our real president, you know, just the courage he has, and it is contagious. It gives me courage. If I'm down now, I'll call him up. You know, like, hey, Mr. President, I was going, Mike, how you doing?
Imagine a guy under 4 indictments. So do you think his faith is real? He's got all these indictments, and he's so courageous. He's so strong.
Yeah.
A lot of people doubt his faith.
Yeah, absolutely. He's so faithful. He knows God's he's chosen for such a time as this, and he knows that. He knows that. He loves when people, you know, pray with them, pray over him. I tell him all the time, I said, you know, if you Google the word patience, you don't see me or his picture, okay? We want it now, right? We want it now. We want the end zone. We want to win. We want to get there. He loves our country. And I tell him all the time, I said, you know what? All these things happening, you know, I said, this is on God's timing. And I tell him that all the time. It's on God's timing. If you're looking from above, they're going to keep attacking you. You know, if he just went home and played golf, they wouldn't be getting attacked. If I wasn't out there trying to secure our election, you think I'd get attacked? We were both, you know, both of us before this happened were the media's darling. I had an American dream. Here's an ex-crack addict with all these employees and all these things. They would come to me all the time. Hey, how you doing? I had this addiction network set up for help addict, bring him to Jesus. Donald Trump was the American dream before he ran all this. The evil wants our voices destroyed. So we're in a great place right now that we have all the tools. We got one shot at this, one shot.
So this is it. If we don't win this one, you really think it goes downhill from here?
No, if we don't win this, I'm not talking about just this election. I'm talking about the time we're in. I don't know if they put it this way. I've looked at it. I look at it from, God's got his hand on this. If he let's say that they steal it from Donald Trump. Let's say they do whatever they do. Okay. Well, maybe that has to happen even to wake up more people to come into this bucket. Maybe it has to scare more people going, hey, it's end times here.
It is.
But we don't know how this is going to play out. We do know who wins in the end. We do know the end. If you know the end of the movie, right, it gives you peace through the rest of the movie.
That's right.
And that's what I got.
I want to give you a gift. I want to mention something. God downloaded to me a bunch of plans for the next leader. It was for Donald Trump back in 2020. I don't think think Ben Carson and some cabinet members got this, but one of the things that he's meant to be is an agent of justice. He's meant to bring in outsiders. He didn't do it in many ways to bring in outsiders. I wonder, would you be an outsider that could have a position in the cabinet, or are you looking to serve your country in a different way than what you're doing in business?
The president, I was funny the one day, he just said the other day, he goes, Mike, you get the most applause of anybody at all the rallies we do. And he said, he said something about politics. I said, sir, I'm good. My focus is on one thing, to fix the field we're playing, the election platform. Remember, I was going to run for governor in Minnesota before all this went down. And once those are secure, I will do anything to help our country if that's what God wants me to do.
I think the call is get outsiders in, get all of these established, corrupt, what do you call it, the swamp, get the swamp drained.
Yeah. Well, it's bigger, I've come to find out it's bigger than the swamp. It's not the Washington swamp, that's part of this crying. It's a world order, it's a deep state globalists, this globalist thing. They got up there. This comes down to, I believe, everything pointing towards, you get down in the Bible, the mark of the beast, you get these, where money becomes obsolete and all this, and you're all a number on your Apple device. You hear that, Tim Cook? It comes down to where this is where we're headed. So we can either embrace where we're headed and we're not embrace it, but be knowledgeable of it and say, how are we getting through this, and where and who is the real evil out there? And then just know that God does have his hand, but we've all got to do our part to do, okay, what's the big we're doing now? We have to secure our election. We got to try and get our great leader back in power, because you know what? Here's what we do know. If Donald Trump was in power right now, we would not have all this stuff.
Ukraine, Israel,
all this would be. But here's what I say. Now, let's closely, everybody. If they would have overturned this, if they would have done this in November and December of 2020 and put Donald Trump in, without us learning all we know now, we lose our country forever. Even though he would have made it very good in the short term, but we wouldn't have found out now. And the evil would have came back with forces you have no idea after that, if he would have won in 2020, or if he would have been overturned. So when I encourage everybody, if you go to the LindellPlan.com, scroll down, and I did a 1-hour speech, and it's called How We Got Here. And it will encourage every one of you to look at these negatives that you thought were negatives when really they're positive. And this includes, I'm going to give you an example. The two senators, remember the senators in 2021 in Georgia where they took them both, stole them both?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
and there was a murder, wasn't there?
What?
Was there a car that was bought?
Yeah, that was another. That was
That's what was pure and evil.
Yeah. They killed. Yeah,
it was the boyfriend of the daughter.
Yeah,
right?
of the daughter.
Oh, my
Bryce Hampton coming great. It was a warning shot. But anyway, the two senators. Okay, but I was in Georgia on January 4th at the rally there, and for both of these senators, remember that we had to have one of them to keep the Senate, and otherwise they have everything. The Democrat would have everything. Well, all of a sudden it hit me, and I got down and I prayed to God, please, God, have them steal them both. Please. And you say, why would you do that, Mike? Why would you do that? Here's why, everybody. If I'm a marketer, and if I was their marketer at that point, I would have said, give them back a Republican. We still have the machines. We have 3 senators, other ones we control, till they shut up about this election. Because nobody was shutting up, right? So what did they do? If they would have gave back a Republican, everyone in the country would have said, oh, we still have the Senate. We'll campaign harder in 2022. Just like ding, 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 uniparty. Well, when they stole them both, what happened? Everyone went, oh. Now what do we do? Maybe there was election crime, right? But they had January 6th planned, so they tried to shut everybody up, and they did, though our voices kept going. All the stuff that happened, if Donald Trump would have came in, it wasn't God's timing. If he comes in early, we lose our country forever. What we know now is the evil goes so broad and so vertical and horizontal. It goes, every day it surprised me. I'm going, wow, this is corrupt over here. We know all the corruption that's out there, and it keeps getting revealed more and more every day. And the people are waking up. The people would never have woke up if it would have been the other way. They would never have this great revival. That would never have happened.
Tell me, the solution that I have for people is just the Bible. In my book, I just saw about how far we strayed from the people having judicial power, how far we've strayed from God's system. Even if the founding fathers were smart and wise, they're not wiser than the Bible. How do you stop this lawfare where they can target someone like you, like Trump? The system itself seems broken, that it can continuously, frivolously lawsuit people until they're broke,
right?
And you can't fight and you give up. Is there a way to go back besides?
There is. This is the way back. Right now, my whole focus is on securing our elections to build up to 2024 and to get this man back in power. When he's back in, all this will be fixed. He's the guy, he just silo it out. No more lawfare, no more this, no more this. We've got to change all this stuff where we didn't follow our Constitution. That's all got to be changed. Everything's got to be changed to go back to following the Constitution. And and fixing all these things. He's a great at that. Here, this one. He can look at a problem solution, but he's got a gift. He knows what it'll manifest to. That's really important. You can have a problem solution. You go, well, is this a short-term solution? No, he knows the long-term solution. It's amazing.
Yeah. I think he really has that in mind. He's a great outsider. He's a problem fixer.
Yeah.
Please tell him when you see him that he needs a prophetic perspective as well. And I got downloaded 10 prophecies to save America, 10 different agendas that would save America that are totally not what he's getting advised on.
Okay.
They're biblical.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So I hope you have a part in the next leadership.
Well, we'll see if God wants that. I'm in it. You know.
Amen. Okay, we'll be praying for Mike Lindell, one of the strong voices for freedom, a Christian voice, just an awesome man of God. What an honor. All right, Steve, God bless you. Thank you.